Hello, I'm Alan, and welcome to today's edition of Alan's Cycling Adventures. As you can see, I'm riding with a couple other people today. I'm here in Ohio for the Crossroads Cycling Adventures reunion. We're going to be riding for the next couple of days, and I'll tell you more about it during the video, but without further ado, let's ride! Over the course of our 2-year reunion, we ended up going on 3 rides on June 11th, 12th, and 13th. The reunion was in the area of Columbus, Ohio. And as many of you know, I am from New Jersey. Columbus, Ohio is somewhere between an 8 and a 9-hour drive. It actually turned out to be not a very bad drive because Teresa and I split up the driving. So, you take like a 4 or 5 hour shift driving and then you get to rest. So that wasn't bad at all. However, when we got to Columbus, when we got to the hotel, and I went to unload the bikes off of the back of the car, I discovered a little bit of a surprise. My back wheel was flat. Okay, not a big deal. I figured maybe something got kicked up from the road, or maybe it was some kind of a freak incident. So once we got settled in, I went to change the tube. I inspected the tire, could not find any issues with the tire. Went to inspect the tube, and the leak was so large that when I went to pump air into the tube, it literally held no air. The air was rushing out immediately. So I figured, it's just a fluke. And I put a new tube in and pumped it up, and it held. And the next morning, it was still holding air. And then we went on the day 1 ride. And the plan was we were going to stop at the halfway point for lunch, and then ride back. Well, it held air all the way to the lunch stop. After lunch, I came out to the bike, and the back tire was completely flat again. It turned out the issue was not a puncture, and it was not an issue with the tire. It was actually the rim. I had somehow, now I've never changed rim tape before, but apparently where one of the spoke holes was, the rim tape broke, and there was sort of a rough edge and a hole through the rim tape. I'm guessing that was gradually rubbing the tube, and eventually the tube tore. I did use a folded up dollar bill as a boot to get back to Tanny's house. And Tanny was a lifesaver. Tanny was one of the organizers of our reunion. She took a ride over to her bike shop with me, and they had signs about a 24-hour turnaround. Well, that would not have been good because we had another ride scheduled the next morning. So she introduced me, explained that we had another ride, and they dropped what they were doing and took care of replacing my rim tape. Did an outstanding job. Shout out to the Trek store in the Columbus area. They did a phenomenal job. Anyway, more about the ride itself. By the way, you can see here we're riding along Buckeye Lake. We actually got to the lunch stop before they opened for lunch, so we needed to kill some time, and ended up riding along a bike path that goes along the shore of Buckeye Lake. Anyway, the ride was on Thursday, June 11th, 2026. At 8:55 a.m. we departed. The weather was partly cloudy, 77 degrees with a feels-like temperature of 80, 83% humidity, and wind 5.6 miles per hour from the south-southwest. That was the weather at the start. As you'll see in the second half of the video, we did get rained on. We actually got poured on. But other than that, the weather was pretty good.
We ended up riding a total of 59.71 miles, and I rode at an average moving speed of 14.9 miles per hour and had a maximum speed of 36.6 miles per hour. Moving time was 4 hours, 0 minutes, 35 seconds. And we had an elapsed time of 5 hours, 54 minutes, and 45 seconds. That included our lunch stop as well as the time it took me to change the tube and insert the boot into the tire so that I would not get a flat on the way back. My average heart rate on this ride was 129 beats per minute, and my max heart rate was 154 beats per minute. I burned a total of 1,307 calories, had an average cadence of 72, and a max cadence of 99. I had a total elevation gain of 1,566 feet. There were two Garmin climbs on this ride. Both were in the second half. The first one was 32.8 miles in. It was 1.06 miles in length and had an elevation gain of 171 feet with an average gradient of 3%. And the second Garmin climb was 40.4 miles in, 0.34 miles in length, so it was a short, punchy climb. We had an elevation gain of 118 feet and an average gradient of 6%. In terms of where the ride was, by the way, you can see the sky is getting gray and ominous now, so I'm getting ready to get poured on. The ride started just south of New Albany, and it went through Pataskala, Kirkersville, Hebron, and out to Buckeye Lake, which is both the lake and the name of a town. When we got there, as I mentioned, it was before the restaurant opened, so we took a ride along Buckeye Lake to a town called Millersport. You can see it's really coming down now in terms of the rain. Then back to Buckeye Lake where we had lunch, and then back to Hebron, Granville, Alexandria, Jersey, and back to Tanny's house just south of New Albany. In any event, it was a great ride, great first opportunity in a while to ride with a fantastic bunch of people. And I hope you enjoy this video. I've got 2 more coming just like it from Friday, June 12th and Saturday, June 13th. I actually got a bonus ride in on Monday, June 15th. I'll tell more about that probably in the next video because I think I'm getting close to the end of this one. But it had to do with a little surprise we had when we were getting ready to leave. Actually, it looks like there is going to be time to tell the story. No, there isn't. I see the end coming up. So you'll have to tune in to Crossroads Reunion Day 2 to learn how I ended up getting an extra bonus ride in the Monday after the reunion. See you later.
Mystery solved. I now know what caused that flat that I had when I got to Ohio. That's been taken care of. And so until next time, stay safe out there.